And it's also the crisis of Islam, because Islam is splitting now in a lot of Islams. You know, people still think about the Islamists as a whole, but in fact, its wide range spectrum is extremely wide, and it's now widening. You have moderate, you have extremists, and then you have the extremists of the extremists. You know, for the ISIS, the extremists of Al Qaeda. And all those Islamist groups are hating themselves sometimes more than they hate us secularists. And they are fighting against themselves more than they are fighting against us. So it's a deep crisis within the Islamist movement itself, you know, whether they will, because they have to make terrible choices, you know, whether they will accept to live with secularists like in Tunisia, whether they will try to set up what they call a caliphate and so forth. It's the deepest crisis in the Islamist trend itself. So when you have this profound crisis, the state, the society, Islam itself, you can imagine that we are really, you know, we are living now it's a sort of chaos in the structure, political structure, chaos in the minds and so forth. And this crisis is probably going to last for many decades once again. I'm telling you that don't expect, you know, the whole problem to be solved within 2 or 3 months or on to 3 years. This is why intervening in the Middle East crisis, you know, for Americans must be very, you know, have to think twice about it, because it won't be a matter of months or years. It could be a matter of decades. So, but what I must say also, that this huge crisis, the deep crisis and so forth, is probably the most important opportunity for the Arab world, you know, to have a real new departure. And when you look to the situation of two countries like Syria and like Tunisia, you see how different is the outcome from one country to another. Because, you know, when people think about the Arab world, they think that the Arab world is also a wide spectrum, and the situations are extremely different, the countries are extremely different. This is why the outcome of this eruption is extremely different.